Let's start with Audrey Snyder with The Athletic. Go ahead, Audrey.
Hey, John. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Audrey. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Wanted to start off by asking you about Justin Fields and the challenge that such a quarterback presents to this D-line.
Well, I think Justin is an elite quarterback. He's extremely athletic, and I tell you what, he can really spin the football too. I mean, he's got a strong arm. That ball gets out of his hand very quickly, and then if it's first or second read is not there, he has the ability to make you look silly scrambling. So I mean, it's going to be a tremendous challenge. I mean, anytime you get a guy that's got 4.3 speed at quarterback and he's big like he is, not only do you got to do a great job of trying to keep him boxed in, but when you get to him, you got to be able to tackle him. I've seen several clips last week, even against Nebraska, where they had defenders hanging off of him and they couldn't stop him and get him down. And, watching tape of him from last year, it's the same deal. So we got to try to do a great job of keeping him boxed in, when his read's not there, and do a great job of getting him on the ground when we get to him.
Tobias Wilborn, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
I think it was Wednesday we talked to Sean Clifford, and he said, we're not here to compete with with Ohio State. We're here to beat Ohio State. What does it do for you guys as a defense when your quarterback comes out and makes a statement of that nature?
Well, Sean, he believes in this football team, and he, as far as what it does to our defense, it's just, we're going to come out every week, regardless of who the opponent is, and do the best job that we can do of, stopping the opponent and trying to be physical and playing fast and, playing error-free. So for us, it really doesn't change our approach. Ohio State just happens to be the next opponent. We're going to go out and try to, meet our expectations and our standards of playing Penn State defense, and that's being physical, playing fast, being aggressive. So we're just going to try to do what we normally do.
Rich Scarcella, Reading Eagle.
Hi, John. Thanks for your time today. John, can you tell us what your initial impressions were of Jason Oweh when you arrived at Penn State? How has he progressed, and where is he now?
Well, when I first took this job, watching tape from last year on Jason was very explosive, and you saw a big-time athlete just going out and making plays with his athleticism, and he still was kind of raw in a couple technique things. And, I've seen Jason mature from last season to this season, because I feel like now you see more of the technique. In my opinion, his strike is really good right now. He's doing a nice job getting off of blocks, and he's really, really coachable guy. He wants to get better. He's doing a nice job with his hands, and just understanding what sort of pass sets he's getting and how you want to attack that. And I've seen his growth and maturity as a football, and his knowledge increase, and it is now translating to the football field. That's been fun to see so far as a coach after the first game.
Tyler Donahue, Lions 247.
John, really glad to hear from you again. Thanks for the time this morning. Wanted to ask about two second-year players on your defensive front who we saw pretty extensively last Saturday. Hakeem Beamon inside, and then Adisa Isaac on the perimeter. How have you seen each of those players progress, and where do you think their biggest strides will be made forward?
I'll start with Hakeem Beamon. Hakeem, to me, is an explosive guy inside. He does a really nice job with his hands. He plays with good leverage. Again, he's a young guy, so it's been the fun to watch him as a coach just soak everything in that you tell him and you try to teach him. And he's really getting better as a football player. I mean, this guy, he makes strides. He's understand what we're asking him to do. He's doing a nice job understanding the package. And, it's showing up. I felt like on Saturday versus Indiana, he did some really nice things for us, and he was flashing all over the place. So I like the way he's progressing. I like the way he's learning. His football IQ is growing day by day, and I think this young man is going to have a high ceiling. I really like what I see out of Hakeem. This week will be a really good test for him. As far as Adisa Isaac, I think Adisa. It's been fun to watch him just increase his strength over the summer, and then the way you see him striking and playing blocks, he continues to get better there. Adisa's a really, really smart kid, and he's playing fast. There's not a lot of thinking going on what we're doing on defense, and you see the guy playing fast, and I really like his rush ability. He's got great hips and great feet. His first step is really, really, really good. And it's been impressive to see him just continue to develop his pass rush moves and get really good with his hands. So I like how he's progressing. I'm really excited about those two.
Greg Pickel, Penn Live.
Thanks, Greg. And good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning.
I'm just curious, what can you guys do from a recruiting perspective this week? You can't host visitors. You don't have the whiteout, but it's still a huge week. Is there anything special you guys can do to build on that through a virtual setting?
Our recruiting department is doing some really cool stuff on game day through Instagram and things like that. And then from a football perspective, one of the best things you can do is just go out and play your tail off and promote your product that way on how hard you play. Obviously winning a game like this definitely helps you and things like that. But I think the way you play on the field, to me, is one of the biggest things that you can do. Nationally televised game is one of the biggest things you can do is go out and play well and play your tail off so people see the true brand and style of Penn State football.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer.
Good morning, John.
Good morning.
I just wondered what your philosophy is on shuffling your defensive linemen. I wondered how that worked last week and how many deep do you plan to go like in a normal situation?
Well, I try to keep guys as fresh as possible. And, you try to roll, you try to have 8 or 9 guys that you feel really good about. That you can roll. And, like last week, I think the rotation a little bit was dictated by the amount of plays that you also have too. I think, we had 36 plays at the end of the third quarter or something like that, which is crazy. I don't know how many games I've been in like that. That's not a lot of plays. So I think that all goes into it. And then as a coach, you got to use your intuition on knowing when to put guys in at the right spot. So I think it's a lot that goes into it, but you like to, have 8 or 9 guys that you can roll and feel really good about.
Let's go to Travis Johnson with the Associated Press.
Hey, Coach. Fields is pretty good at extending the play without outright having to take off and run. I'm just curious do you guys have a way? Do you refer to those steps he takes in the pocket? Do you have like an internal stat to refer to those steps that he takes to get outside and keep the play going? And when does the objective maybe become limiting that space rather than outright getting to him if you can?
Well, I'm going to say he's not pretty good extending plays. He's darn good extending plays. He's one of the best I've seen do it, so in a while. But, what you try to do on that is you try to, we talk about rush lane and having pocket integrity with our guys. You try to keep him bottled up in the pocket, and the more you can get him off his spot of where he's comfortable to set up and throw the ball, I think the better your chances are as a defense. So, we got to try to do a good job with that, of getting him off his spot, getting him uncomfortable. And then when he does get out, we got to do a great job of corralling the guy and tackling him and getting him down. And so obviously we're going to try to limit that as much as we can. But I'll say he is an elite athlete. So if he does get out, we got to do a great job rallying, continue to play, and get him down on the ground. But he will be a handful.
Mark Brennan, Lions 247.
John, thank you for doing this today. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask you about two other young guys who made the trip, but I don't think they got on the field. Can you tell us how Smith Vilbert and Keziah Izzard are coming along? Both guys seem like pretty impressive physical specimens. And as you get into games where you may see 80 snaps or something crazy like that, do you envision those guys maybe getting some playing time? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I really think Keziah has got a big upside. He learns very quickly. He's athletic. And, he's one of those guys, as this thing, a normal game, you would see those guys, get some work in there, with the right situation in the game. But we really feel good about where Keziah is and how he's progressing, and we feel good about his future. Same thing with Smith Vilbert. I really like him. Smith is athletic. He's got great length. And, he's continuing to improve and get better every week. And, he's another one of those young guys that you do want to get some work when the opportunity is, opportunity is right. And my thing is, as crazy as it is this year with the COVID and all that kind of stuff going on, these guys are going to have to be ready. I tell them all the time, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, because at some point in time, everybody's going to get their number called. To play significant time. So we continue to bring those guys along, but I'm very excited about both those young guys. They're going to be really good.
Let's go to Audrey Snyder with The Athletic.
John, we've asked a lot of your defensive linemen about him. Most of us, I think, remember him as a player, but what's it like working with Deion Barnes, and what are some of the things that you see from him behind the scenes that we, of course, never will see?
I tell you what, Deion Barnes, I've worked with a lot of, younger coaches that's coming up. And I tell you what, Deion Barnes is really, really good. He's just, he's got a way with the guys that I think that's very good. But his knowledge of defensive end play and D-line play is really good. We've worked together for 2 years with the Jets. And he understands how to pass rush like I do. So we see things very, very similar. And we have a lot in common on how we see things and how we kind of coach things, from the way he was coached in New York. And then, kind of how he was, he learned from Coach Johnson some things that's now at Ohio State. I think he was his D-line coach when he got here. I've clinic with some of the people that are Coach Johnson disciples. So we're very aligned in kind of how we see things. And so he's got a great way of just, being that second voice to those guys. As I'm hitting them, he's also hitting them. And I think it's been really good. It's been good to have him in there. There's a growing trust within our room of guys believing in what we're doing. And then just his knowledge of, and the way he sees things, it just complements everything we do in there. And that's been really, really good. And everybody has benefited from. But I've been very, very excited about Coach Barnes and his knowledge and his work ethic and the way he conducts himself and handles himself and relates to the guys has been outstanding. He's outstanding. He is an outstanding young coach. He really is. Glad he's here.
Let's go to Tyler Donahue, Lions 247.
John, no fault of your own, but the kind of dealt a difficult hand with recruiting because of coming on board in February and then having things get shut down a few weeks later. How did that kind of impact your ability to establish some early momentum as a Penn State recruiter? How have you tried to work to overcome that with signing day coming up? And also, I'm going to throw this in there because I don't want the call to go by without mentioning him. Can you talk about the impact of Shaka Toney on your room as the old guy and as a guy who's obviously effective on the field?
Absolutely. So as far as the recruiting piece, that was extremely difficult. Just because, a lot of these guys had been on campus and had met Coach Spence. And so I didn't actually get a chance to meet with these guys in person or get around those guys. And I think when, you guys know just as well as I do in the recruiting process, when you go visit places, it's all about how you feel around that position coach, the vibe that you get like in person that you can't get on a Zoom or you can't get on, just by mail. So that part of it has been difficult, but our recruiting staff has done a great job of trying to do different things to get us to so the recruits would see us in different ways. I've also tried to reach the guys we're on. I've also tried to reach every kid, their parent, and just try to go over the top with everything that I can legally do to build that relationship. Just having multiple film sessions with guys, articulating what we do, explaining kind of my coaching style, my philosophy. Also, just trying to get those guys, doing Zooms with them so they can see my family, so they can kind of just see what kind of person I am. And, it's taken a little bit of time, but I do feel like the guys are seeing that, because that's kind of the way it's going to be for a while. And I think it's going to pay off big time for us. So, I just continue to work it the best way that we can with that. And, and again, I do feel like it'll all work out in the end how it's supposed to. So I just keep grinding that way. Our recruiting staff is doing a great job in helping us with that. But, that was difficult. That's so different than my 18 years of being a college coach, of having to recruit kids with them never meeting you in person or coming on campus. But, you adapt and you overcome. And that's what we're doing. We're adapting and overcoming and trying to do the best that we can. And then as far as Shaka Tony, it's been great having him around. Shaka's done a nice job of just of leading guys and helping them understand all the little things that you need to know and the work that goes into having successful games and being a student of the game. Those young guys in that room look up to him because Shaka's a very, very intelligent football player. He's one of those guys that can tell you what everybody's doing on the field, where they're going to be. He's been through a lot of battles, and he's a great teammate to those guys. He's one of those guys that'll go put his arm around them and love them up, but also, get on him when he needs to. And so having him in the room has been awesome, because he is behind the coaching staff. He's behind us. He is behind this football team, doing everything that he can do to help make us be the best we can be. And so that's been tremendous. It's always good when you have leadership like that in your room, and the guys are preaching the same message that the coaching staff is.
All right, guys, we have time for one more question. Nubias Wilborn, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Oh, geez. I hate asking a non-game question for the last question, but I'm doing a feature for next week, and just want to talk to you about your experiences with Alonzo Carter and what they have meant with getting to know Coach Franklin and what that has done for black coaches.
Say that again.
The experience with Alonzo Carter with the black coaches, Zooms over the summer, and with Coach Franklin, just getting to know the staff in that way. Okay, all right. Well, first of all, I think what Alonzo Carter is doing was wonderful, because it brought a lot of African American coaches together. Some of the same coaches I hadn't seen or I hadn't talked to in years, but it allowed us to kind of brainstorm and on ideas of things that we can help to improve our profession and things that we can do moving forward. So I think that's been wonderful, and everybody kind of getting on the same page. I thank him for that. That's something that's been needed for a while. So that was really good. And then, working for Coach Franklin, who's an African-American coach, has been great. This is my second time working for an African-American head coach. I did it when I was with the New York Jets, and Todd Bowles was the head coach. So, I just think anything that we can do, as an African-American coach to help Coach Franklin, anything I can do, or same with to help Coach Bowles, to help promote them, so people, can see that, hey, man, we can go in and do a great job too. And, we're good coaches as well. I'm going to do that, but it's been great, man. Coach Franklin, you guys know him too, is one of the best leaders
white, black, whatever, that I've been around. His leadership style is tremendous, man, and he's very effective in running an organization. And just, I've been around a lot of coaches, and I think he's at that top of just being a great leader, man. And if you hadn't been around him or know the day to day, Coach Franklin has got it, man. He's got that it factor. He's one of the smartest people I've ever been around, and so I think working with him, I'm taking it all, soaking it all in. One day, you want to have an opportunity to run your own program, and what better guy to learn from than James Franklin? He is really good at what he does. Really good. Good person. Good man.